All right, my next tutorial is just kind of filling in more of the sky, but using some different techniques. I've now added some Q-tips to be able to use to apply the paint. So to give you a variety of ways to apply paint, I can use a palette knife, I can use a paintbrush, my fingers, a sponge, and of course Q-tips. So I have now just kind of built up 3 different colors, and now I'm going to be applying a little bit more of that dark blue, dark brown. And this time I'm doing it using dots. This also is called pointillism. So what I'm doing is I've given myself some base colors, and now I'm going to build on those colors, but instead of using my fingers or using a paintbrush, I'm making dots. That tends to put the paint on a little bit thicker. So that's, it's not a problem. It's just, just something a little bit different. You're probably going to use a little bit more paint at this stage. So I have that nice midnight blue color on the far left side of the painting. So I'm just putting a little bit of blue and a little bit of black, and I'm letting those colors mix on my paper. It does help to have something to hold your paper down, because your Q-tip does want to lift off your paper. So when you're doing pointillism technique, you're not necessarily supposed to mix your colors beforehand. You let the colors mix on the painting itself. This is also just an alternative if you struggle by seeing a lot of, brush strokes in your paintings. This is a really good technique to use to get away from seeing those brush strokes. Brush strokes, I guess they're good to an extent. Beginning artists tend to struggle with showing too many brush strokes. So I want to give you some tips that you can use to help you kind of get away from having too many brush strokes or showing too much, lines, especially if you're not seeing lines in your photograph and you want it to blend more. This is another great way to blend your colors. So anytime I work on a surface, I am trying to give myself a minimum of 3 colors. With whatever work of art I'm going with, I am going to give myself a minimum of 3 colors that I can mix that are going to create that, the colors that I see in the image, but also help prevent you from having a flat painting. You don't want just one solid color. A flat painting is going to have more just solid colors, okay? If you were in maybe a beginning art class in elementary school, that would be more acceptable. So my job is to show you different ways to make your paintings look more professional. And giving a sense of depth is one of the ways that you can achieve a more professional finish. Now we're just using regular drawing paper. It is a mixed media paper, so I shouldn't say it's just drawing paper, but it definitely has its challenges. When you're using paper, whether it's mixed media or watercolor or regular drawing paper, you have to be real careful when it comes to applying your paint. It could be really easy to accidentally tear your paper if you're using too much water, especially. So that's another reason why I like using a Q-tip, is because it helps you control the amount of paint, and it also allows you to apply paint and not have to worry so much about that paint going on too thick in some areas. It helps you with consistency, I should say. Now when I get to the little areas of where I'm applying those white clouds and all of those little stars, you're going to see me go in with a stipple as well, or not a stipple, or similar to pointillism, I'm going to be using just a fine point of a pencil to apply my paint. And that's going to give a really interesting look. I could also splatter paint on here, but I want to control where those little white dots go. So that's why I would use a stipple. Using any kind of rounded tool will work. An eraser, the tip of a pencil. Those are all just a couple of suggestions, different ways.